What's up? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the car studio for the second installment of the Mindfulness Aid on YouTube. I am so glad to have you here. If you do not know who I am, my name is Taylor Hatfield. I am the founder of the Mindfulness Aid. We are located at the Mindfulness Aid on Facebook, the Mindfulness Aid on Instagram. And if you ever want to see some backstage stories of how this process unfolds and me as a person in my life, please check out Taylor's Authentic Journey on both Instagram and TikTok. We have a really nice series on TikTok running right now called the It's Okay to Not Be Okay series, where you come along with me on my journey of navigating homelessness with in-laws and family, learning good self-awareness and emotional intelligence, regulating skills in order to get through this not okay situation as an authentic and mindful human being. So if you're really interested in something like that and getting tips and tricks for handling stressful situations in a mindful way, please head over to Taylor's Authentic Journey on TikTok. You'll love it. Great content, and I'd love to have you here. So last week we covered intros into self-awareness and self-regulation and a couple of easy tips and tricks that you can put into your mindfulness aid toolkit in order to help you be more present and build those more present habits in your autonomic nervous system. Now, today, what I want to get into is self-awareness as a chunk all in itself. Without the self-regulation, without the social awareness, without the justice and ethics that come with emotional regulation and the self-motivation, I just want to kind of sit with self-awareness because it's the first step in many self-programs, and it's going to be the first step in really cultivating your mindful toolkit, because if you're not aware of yourself in the present moment, then you can't regulate yourself in the present moment. So what we're going to cover today is essentially a few slow down exercises, some journaling prompts to help you be more self-aware in the moment, especially depending on the different states you're in, whether it's joyous, triggered, slothy, those three: stressed, rest, and just peaceful states that we talked about with the 5-day masterclass on Facebook. If you haven't seen that, please go over to the Mindfulness Aid on Facebook. All of those are pre-saved for you, and there's some really great content that we did at the beginning of February last year. But today, what we're going to get into is how you can start building more self-awareness in a present and set state. And that begins firstly with being open to the process. Now, you might be saying, Taylor, that sounds like a redundancy. That sounds like it's not supposed to fit. It does. Trust me. Wait. Follow the process of this video. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. But if you are not open to being aware of yourself, the good, the ugly, the out of control, the over control, whatever different subtle nuances that is you yourself, if you are not open to seeing all aspects of it, not just the good, self-awareness will not work for you. If you go into every situation going, oh, I did good here, oh, there's good here, oh, there's good here, that's great, especially if you're a self-deprecating person. But what you're not seeing is, yes, I did good, but here's an area of improvement. And that's what the mindfulness aid is about. It's about mindful self-improvement so that you can be your most authentic self in the present moment, in the peaceful moment, in that moment where the past and the future meet to make the horizon of creation. If you are not open to seeing yourself in that moment, self-awareness will never work. It doesn't matter what tips you put into play. It doesn't matter what practices you use. If you're not open to the process will not work. So now that we're open to the process of seeing all different aspects in ourselves, what I really like to do with self-awareness is to bring it into my triggered states first, because I am a rip the band-aid off kind of woman. Get the hard shit over with first, so that way the healing and the goodness and the happiness can follow through afterwards. So what I like to do is take self-awareness moments into my triggers. Do that for 4, 5, 6 months. Build the habit of being able to see yourself in the ugly and the bad states, because it's going to make it easier to see yourself in the good states, but it's also going to make it easier to flow through this process without the resistance of, oof, I don't want to look at that. So now that we know the first step, openness, and the when, triggered states, let's get into the how. So the first thing I want you to do if you are triggered and you are in the moment and it's time for that self-awareness is I want you to do the 1-minute breathing plug and play for your mindfulness aid toolkit. Pull that little baby out, sit 6 deep counts in, 6 deep counts out. If after your minute you feel like you are still triggered, you can feel the sweating and the heartbeat and all of the things that come along with the fight or flight response, do it again and do it again until you feel like you are in a calmer state. This is usually best done alone, but for some people who find solidarity triggering, find a support buddy. Find someone who will do breathing exercises with you. There are some times that I am far too triggered to do it by myself, and I will call my emotional support best friends, and we will get myself in a calmer state so then I can go inward alone and do the self-awareness mechanisms. So now that you're calm, what I want you to do is go through 3 easy prompts. Super simple, journal them out. You can say them out if journaling's not your thing, or put them in an online diary. However you want to do this, customize this process for you. The mindfulness aid is all about templates for individuality because everyone's healing journey is going to be different. So the first question you're going to ask yourself is, what about this situation triggered me? Become aware of what the actual trigger is. You could think it's the lights and the sounds, but really it's a conversation that you had with someone 5 seconds prior. Sit with the trigger and really get deep and down as to what it is, what it stems from, what flipped that switch into fight and flight and stress. Once you know what the trigger is, ask yourself why. Why is this situation triggering? What happened in the past that made this triggering? What's the root cause of all of this? Meditations are really nice to help you get deeper in, but sometimes you can't meditate in a Walmart. So a good little voice note prompt or a quick journaling exercise can be really helpful whenever you're taking this on the go, and it's not a trigger that's done inside your home or your safe space. So now that you know what the trigger is, and you know why you're triggered, ask yourself if you are proud of the response that you had to the trigger. Are you proud of the way that you handled it? If you blew up and then did the self-awareness mechanism, you might not be so proud. State why. Be like, I am not proud of the way I acted because it doesn't align with my authentic code. It's not necessary for the situation. It's not conducive to where I'm going in the future. If you saw the trigger, stopped, went to your self-awareness mechanisms and got yourself settled down before you had a reaction that you're not proud of, say yes and list why, because I was self-aware and that helped me regulate. Whatever it is, if you're proud of it, yes, no, maybe so, perfect. And that's it. Because self-awareness isn't self-regulation. We're not asking you to find it and then regulate it. That comes in later steps. Just being able to see it, to find the mental patterns, is going to make regulation so much easier in the past. So once you've done the openness, once you've figured out when to do it, you've gone through your journal prompts, then there's just one more act that I always like to suggest to clients when we're beginning to working with self-awareness is self-love. Is being able to love yourself even when you're not necessarily proud of yourself. And especially being open to that self-awareness is going to cause a lot of internal wounds. And we want to make sure that we're not creating a self-deprecating mindfulness practice, but instead a self-building, a self-fulfilling, a self-actualizing. I don't know if that's good words. Ignore that. But we're trying to build a self-fulfilling mindfulness practice, and that comes with self-love. So I want you to give yourself one act of self-love, whether that's buying that ice cream bar or crocheting for 15-20 minutes or watching some TikToks for a second. Just a small little bit of, I did that. I came, I saw the bad, I was aware of it, I journaled through it. I love myself for that. That's huge. That's huge. Just that, it's huge. I know so many people who have a really, really hard time of being aware of themselves, which makes it even harder to build a fulfilling habit. Because if you're not aware of yourself, you don't know what you like. You don't know what you dislike. You don't understand how you act. You don't understand what makes you feel joy. So when we start there, the rest of this process going forward with building that life that you're looking for builds all on top of this. So it's the first real step in beginning to create that fulfilling mindfulness practice that if you're here, you're most likely looking for. So just to review what we've gone over, when it comes to incorporating self-awareness into your daily habits, your daily strategies, we're going to be open to the process, seeing all things. We're going to start by being self-aware when we're triggered the most, when we're stressed the most, when we're not sitting in full alignment, because those are the areas that need our attention the most and the hardest areas to look at. So we're just ripping that Band-Aid off, getting it out of the way, and then we're going to go through our 3 prompts, whether you journal them, say them out loud. Why am I triggered? What triggered me? And am I proud of my reaction? From there, once you do that, once you have that saved so you can look at it in the future, then you're going to love on yourself. You're going to give yourself what you need. You're going to give yourself what you want. And you're going to show yourself that doing this is a rewardable action. And that's going to begin to create new neural pathways within the brain in order to help you be more aware of yourself easier, faster. Make it an automatic, autonomous progress that every time you get triggered, you go, what, why, and am I proud? What, why, and am I proud? And then we can take that tool, that plug and play from our mindfulness toolkit and add it with a bunch of other tools to get the outcome that we're working for, that we're building for. So to continue and finish off this video, if you haven't already, please go check out all of the different social media pages that we have for this outlet. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under the Mindfulness Aid and Taylor's Authentic Journey for more background into who I am and to kind of come along for my journey of creating this business and creating my own fulfilled life. If you have not already, please go check out the 5-day masterclass on Facebook. It introduces you to the Mindfulness Aid Toolkit and the plug and plays that will be referenced a lot in these videos, so that way you can begin building your own mindfulness toolkit to take into life and to build and to grow and to prosper. And also remember that you are valid, you are loved, and you are important. And just the fact that you are here today shows so much for your personal evolution and journey. So thank you for trusting me. Thank you for being here for the process. And until always, my darlings, go in love. Until the next one, bye.